welcome to the HalfTime TeamTalk podcast. It's that time of the year already when all the good football stops and we get to enjoy international football again. Join us as we discuss how many defenders Gareth Southgate can fit onto a pitch, how many of his mates he can get into the England squad, and Wales get to peel the cotton wool off Gareth Bale. Also, as there's not much else to talk about, we've taken Chelsea owner Todd Bohely's idea of a Premier League All-Star game and made our own North versus South teams. On today's podcast, we've got Theo.
Hello.
Johnson.
There.
CB.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to get into the England selection first, if you don't mind. Firstly, why has he picked Maguire?
Well, he's got his favourites, hasn't he? He's got his favourites.
He's not been playing football.
Yeah, but he's clearly got his favourites. He's picked Luke Shaw too.
Didn't he always say, well, yeah, Luke Shaw, that's probably even worse, but didn't he always say he would pick players on form?
Yeah, was that when he first actually joined and he said, I'll be picking players on form, and he's just proven that he doesn't pick players on form whatsoever.
Yeah.
Even when...
So,
if you play for a big club, Gareth Southgate will pick you.
So,
well, it's just like with Calvin.
Sorry. I was going to say, in the slight defence of Maguire, he's been shocking for United, but he's never really been poor for England. I get he's not in form, but
He's not been poor because he's always got another two centre-backs around him and two central defensive midfielders in front of him.
But
I think that's a massive thing about Maguire, actually. That's a good shout. Is for England because they play three. They play it three at the back, don't they, England? I mean, I'm quoting despite not knowing too much about England because I don't really watch England play, but and he can get away with it more, Maguire, in a 3, whereas in a 4-4-2, he is going to get exposed more. So I can understand now.
They always play Rice.
He's better for England.
They always play Rice and Calvin Phillips as well, so
how defensive
he's just got so much protection.
Yeah. And then...
Can I ask? Sorry. It's like, okay, so England have a protection barrier around Maguire. Why would you put Maguire in there?
Well, exactly. You put someone who doesn't need the protection.
Yeah, just why is he in there anyway? But it's like Gareth Southgate. Is he his secret son or something?
Well, it's like we kind of need Fryer here. It's a shame he's not here, to be honest, because he does defend him. But me and CB both think he is far too defensive.
He is. It's
like if you look at the Euros, the final, we had so many opportunities to counter Italy, but he was just playing defensive. As soon as we scored, shut up shop.
It's just even when we played the more lesser teams, so the Andorra's world. Nine times out of 10.
Sorry, I forgot to mute. Wales just scored.
Was it 4-1 Belgium?
No, 2-1. Carry on, TB.
So even when we were playing lesser teams,
4-0 Hungary, was it?
Well, that was a shocking performance. We've been shocking this Nations League, but when we play Andorra, 9 times out of 10 you'll play Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips, and then 3 centre backs behind, and it's why are we?
Yeah, we've got so much attacking talent.
Why are we playing these defensive-minded players against teams like this when he's just so defensive-minded? It's frustrating,
especially when we've got so much attacking talent that's so good.
Yeah,
he's not utilising it.
I understand having wing backs and all that. So you got Reece James, Trent.
Yeah, so they've got every defender under the sun, haven't they? They've picked 12 defenders.
And then you've got definitely right back. We're spoiled for the choice of right back. Trent, Reece James, Walker. You could probably say Trippier in there.
Trippier.
Left back, I wouldn't say we're as good in that way. Chilwell always injured. I think he's okay. I don't think he's a world beater. Luke Shaw.
It's going to be Shaw, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you got Shaw, and it's I can't think on top of my house who else.
That's why Shaw keeps getting picked, because there's a lack of left-footed left backs. There's a lot of right backs. So unless you wanted to play one on the other side, that's why Shaw keeps getting in.
I think Kieran Trippier can play left back, and I'd rather play Kieran Trippier because at least he's got an output. Because he's actually very good set piece taker.
He is,
got a good delivery on him, but it still doesn't. It's still frustrating to see the talent this England team has, especially the younger talent, and we're still insisting on playing defensive-minded players. Declan Rice has been poor this season. Calvin Phillips has barely played this season. Harry Maguire.
Well, he's not in the team anymore, Calvin Phillips, is he?
I know, but I mean, like he originally was picked though.
Yeah. It'll be
Still,
interesting to see what he does. Do you think he'll play the same formation, but with Bellingham there instead of Phillips?
Bellingham is like that's first, in my opinion, probably you could probably say the first or maybe second name on this team sheet, maybe behind Kane. I'd probably say Bellingham has to be there.
Maybe his age might play against him.
No, but I mean for his quality. Quality, he's up there.
But then is he too attack minded?
Oh yeah, it's a bit too attack for him. Then he plays. Then,
But then that's when you've got about 700 defenders and 2 people sitting.
It's 12 defenders.
Then can go forward without having to worry too much about looking back.
But you would say that about Declan Rice, but he doesn't. They've been told to sit there and protect, haven't they?
Yeah. So our defense, I can understand it playing away against the bigger teams, but against the lesser teams or the teams we should really be beating, it just doesn't make sense. Or even when Fell said when we had a chance against Italy, didn't utilise it, he just carried on. And then
I don't know why
and then
he's even picked. Oh, go on.
And let's go back to that Italy one in the final. Then he put 2 players on pretty much last minute to take a penalty, and was it 3 players? 2 players, 3 players?
2 players.
Saka was already on, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I thought that was bad. I thought that was bad.
I'm sure Russian does it.
But
yeah, it was.
See, I appreciate what he's done in terms of he's got England to semi-final, then a final, but the limitations of his management you can be seen in both of them. And for many
I just think of it as a missed opportunity of like what could have been. We may never get in that position again.
When Shaw scored that goal in the final, like was it 5 minutes in or something stupid?
I think it was like the second minute.
I thought, okay, this is it. I was going crazy. Everybody's going crazy, and then we just went defensive, and then Italy just took a big grip of the game, and then it's like
they just grinded us down, didn't they?
They were going to score at some point, and they did, and then went to penalties. Like, well, we've got to lose. So
I mean, I feel like it should be said we didn't actually lose that game. Like it was penalties.
Yeah, we technically drew.
Still.
But
well, you didn't win, did you? Because Italy went home with a trophy. Like
we didn't win.
But it was a massive missed opportunity. That.
Just before we move on, does anyone else know how the hell this Nation League works?
All I know is that somehow got Wales closer to the World Cup, and Wales went through to the World Cup, so it's fine.
But I'm looking at the tables now, right? We're in League A, Group 3. We're currently bottom with 2 points. Hungary are top, believe it or not. And underneath us is League A, Group 4. If we get relegated, do we go down into that?
Yeah, we
no.
If we get relegated, we go into League.
You go into B.
Yeah, we go into B, don't we?
Yeah. So I obviously know a bit about this just because it helped, like you said, it helped Wales give us an extra opportunity. But basically, there's League A, B, C, and D. D are like the minnows that might try their best against
Malta,
D. But,
San Marino,
Andorra. But yeah, in terms of Group A, obviously, if you win your group, then the top 4 go in to decide who wins the tournament.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just about staying in Group A because it gives you a better chance in terms of qualifying.
What happens if you win Group B?
If you win B, you get promoted into A, and the last team in A goes down into B.
Right.
That's
so
what Wales are fighting now. Is
the only teams who can win a trophy is A.
Is A, yeah, but that's the same with any tournament. If you look at all the teams in A, those are the ones that will win major tournaments or at least be in the periphery. Whereas Wales are probably too good for B and not good enough for A.
There's some weak teams in A.
There is.
Well, I mean, there's 16 teams, so the teams at the lower end of the teams aren't going to be as good as like the top 4 or 5, are they? But
it looks like you're going to get relegated, and we could potentially get relegated. It depends. Does that mean we can go in the same group?
Could potentially.
But I hate both get relegated. But Wales do have a chance of staying up, dependent on how Poland are doing tonight. I haven't actually seen the Poland score, but
losing 1-0 to Netherlands.
How many points do Wales have?
Wales have got 1. Poland have got 4.
Okay.
But Wales play Poland last, and if Wales beat Poland by 2 goals, we stay up and they go down if they lose tonight. So tonight's game for Wales against Belgium doesn't really matter.
Where's it at? Do you know where it's at, or?
I think it's in Cardiff.
It's in Cardiff because we lost 2-1 away.
Oh yeah, wasn't it a late goal?
Just
85th minute.
We played Wales played 2 nations games just before the obviously important game against Ukraine to qualify for the World Cup. So they just played partial teams and weren't asked about it. But now it's come to the crunch of trying to stay in the top group because it gives you a better qualifying pot.
Right.
I'd rather stay in Group A because it is worthwhile.
Is there anything you and Tom want to mention about team selection, or is it pretty straightforward for the Wales team?
It's always going to be straightforward. I'd like to see Kiefer Moore, but then again, Kiefer Moore is
he not been picked?
He actually scored tonight, but then Brennan Johnson is the quicker. He's a finisher as well. So Wales actually have options up front. Wales have options everywhere. I know they're not as in depth as the bigger teams. That not often where Wales has a fairly decent squad, their level. So it's nice to see that there's an option as Brennan Johnson. He can run the channels. He can try and be quick. He can score. Then he can bring Kiefer Moore on to be the big guy at the end. There's quite a few options for Wales, which is nice to see. And in my lifetime, I never thought to see Wales qualify for anything ever, and they qualified for 3 tournaments in the last few years.
Yeah,
and if they don't qualify for anything,
quite bad, didn't it?
Oh God, yeah. And if they don't qualify for anything for the rest of my life, I can live with that because I saw them in the World Cup, providing it is the dodgy Qatar World Cup, fair enough, but still they're there. And I get to see them in a World Cup in the winter, which is weird as well. They're in a World Cup. Lovely.
Yeah, this is definitely the golden generation of Wales. Yeah. And then, funny enough, you're saying about Brennan Johnson and Kiefer Moore, those are the 2 that linked up for the goal. Brennan Johnson absolutely burned them down the right-hand side. He kind of flopped the ball into the back post, and then Kiefer Moore's always going to get his big head on it. That's how Wales literally scored tonight, but...
Wales,
it's nice to see because we have got Premier League quality options. The problem is sorry, go on. I say the problem we've got is the depth because we're missing so many players tonight. We've got a guy in the middle of the park who's on League One books and he's playing for Milton Keynes because obviously there's no Allen, there's no Ramsey. Bale's still on the bench because he's not fully fit, and obviously Hennessy's not playing at the moment, but he's doing all right for Wales.
Also, once upon a time, second string Wales side would lose 17-0 to Belgium, and they're doing okay, they're doing okay. So, and the fact that we can have a discussion about a Wales first 11 again, when was it ever possible? Yeah, it's just nice to be a normal team for the first time I felt in my life, it's just great. It's just great to see, and if it doesn't happen anymore, then great. But it's just great to see it, and it's nice to just be part of the World Cup and be in the sticker albums and all that stuff. It's just great. It's just great.
Something that's taken for granted with England. It's just but
England always qualifying. All power to them. They're the ones that should be trying to win the tournaments, but we're lucky that when we get to the tournament, we can just enjoy it. It doesn't matter if we never win it, so we're precious off when we're there, it's great.
Exactly like you said, Thomas, we never thought Wales would make a World Cup. Oh. And we're there, and that's, for us, all that matters, whereas obviously England, it's not just being there, England have to do well. Whereas, even though you're saying it was a missed opportunity at the last couple of tournaments, England are always usually just to make it to the World Cup, maybe get out of the groups and limp out in the round of 16 or quarters. You were that much closer just without actually winning something. It's the closest England have got since the dreaded 1966. So, yeah, you were close and you didn't quite do it but you made the final. You only just lost on penalties. And then in the World Cup, you went out to Croatia in the semis. So, I can understand why you're disappointed, but, most nations apart from France or Brazil would be well happy with that.
Yeah. Typical Wales, we managed to draw England in the first World Cup in 60 years. Brilliant. But also, luckily, it's the last game, and I'm hoping that Wales can do some results out of USA and Iran, which is possible.
You
And
can.
the England game
play
will
with a
not
bit of
mean
freedom then.
play with some freedom. And if England win, doesn't matter. We're through. It's fine.
I think you might finish second. I think it'd be England top, Wales second. Then
I'd love to think so. Even Wales top like the Euros, in 2016. You never know. So it'd be nice to think both England and Wales can go through and both get to the final, and Wales will win in a really horrible 1-0 draw.
You know the game of that group. Do you know what it is? USA v
Iran, America. Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
that'd be
It's a
interesting.
nuclear game, that isn't it?
Yeah.
Who?
USA versus Iran. Well, that'd be an interesting game.
Oh, right, okay. They're actually ranked 14th in the world, USA, so they ain't going to be no pushovers.
No, they won't.
Iran are quite highly ranked as well. All apart from England should win the
Iran are
group.
22.
I think we'll agree, but all the other teams will think that they've quietly got a good chance. So it will be an interesting group. But yeah, like you said, I'm quite happy that Wales play England last, because England might well already be through and play like periphery players by then, which could work into Wales' hands.
Nope, it'll be strong.
So I like the way it's fallen for us.
Also, on the other thing is, like, if Wales even if Wales don't win a game, as long as they're just not limping all the way through, as long as they're giving it them all and they go out on a high, even losing.
If they go out on their shields, I'd still be happy with that.
Yeah. Unlike the Portugal semi-final where they didn't seem to just go for it.
I think we were just knackered. I think it was just a build up, wasn't it? Like,
it's just adrenaline, it's just hangover. But yeah, as long as it's a good show and we go out clapping to the fans, we did our best, I'm fine with that.
Well, it was the same for the Euros when we made the semis. I was happy to be there. Could we maybe get out of the groups? Oh my god, we did. Let's just see how we do. And it obviously just snowballed into like, oh my god,
surfing a wave, then, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a wave. Big wave, and we were winning the competition.
Like that when you beat Belgium must have been like unreal.
And then we watched England versus Iceland.
Yeah.
No, that was horrific.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, if you flip that round, because obviously Wales won the group, and that's why we were in our side and you were in the other side. If it was the other way round, I think Wales would have struggled more against Iceland, whereas England probably would have struggled against Belgium. So you never know, like, I suppose. But
I don't think it.
Was it just
we'd have struggled against both then?
Was it just me though before the Belgium game? Like, I genuinely thought we'd win.
I was optimistic, but I wouldn't go so far as to thinking we'd win. Like, but even though. I'm trying to think, like, is there another game that I've celebrated more than that? Like, I think Liverpool winning trophies, you do obviously have to celebrate, like, but
I remember
it was just mental being in the pub watching that Belgium game.
I was at home watching it, and I remember Robbie Savage on the commentary saying, like, "Wake up, you kids! Like, this is like something I'll never forget." And I just remember looking at the station like, "Can I?"
On that point, Johnson, it's another Belgium game where Wales first got to the Euros, and Gareth Bale scored that goal to make it 1-0 for Wales, and that's the first time they sang the anthem in the stadium, just spontaneously. And that was another time where he got goosebumps. It's like, oh, something's happening here.
Yeah,
something is happening, and we've got a wave going here. This is a momentum. It's always been against Belgium as well. I went to the Belgian game as well. You can find it on Thomas Cass's episode where I go to the Belgian game.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yes, it's a 1-1 game. Yeah, my dad was there, my brother was there. And it's when
hello, Dad. Hello, Dad.
Hello, Dad. Yeah, fucking.
Hi, Tom's dad.
It was when it was 1-0 to Belgium, and then Kiefer Moore got the equaliser, and the ground was buzzing. And again,
speaking of Kiefer Moore, I hope that he goes, because he is just a guaranteed yellow card for some reason. And
if Kiefer Moore's fit, he will 100% be going.
Like, the forwards always seem to just like. Referees always just seem to like book him. European referees, just because the way he jumps.
He's an old school centre half, and people don't know what to do with him now, do they?
No. Well, anyway.
He is a yellow card magnet. You're right on that.
Yeah, I've made lots of money off him. But yeah, moving on. Should we do those teams now? So, as I mentioned in the intro, Todd Bohely, Chelsea owner, has come up with this ingenious idea of an all-star game of North versus South, and we've decided to pick our own teams with a bit of a twist. So, bear with me. while I try and explain it. So we've changed it a little bit because if we just picked who we wanted, it'd all just be City and Liverpool, and then down south it'd probably just be Arsenal and Spurs. So what we've done is we've picked what?
Nothing.
We've picked one player from each team, so obviously that makes 10. So then we've allowed ourselves to pick a second from the same team. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I explain that okay? Yeah.
So template. So 9 players form 9 teams, and then 1 team with 2 players.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how we're going to do this. We're kind of just going to bumble through it, but yeah. Do we do it by
North or south?
Defense? Well, we'll go north first.
Pick a north or south for a start, and then we'll just go through our teams, I suppose, is the best way to do it.
We'll go north, but should we do everyone's left back, or should we do everyone's defense?
Everyone's defense, I think.
Okay.
Right, so I say my whole defense, and then someone else says their whole defense.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so I'll go first.
Right, let me get a pen and paper.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, we used, was it the Sky graphic where they split the teams?
Yes. So basically,
some teams might not seem as northern, but we're basing off a graphic Sky. I think it was Sky did.
I'll get the picture up now and I'll read the teams.
Well, most of the south teams are in London and then around London, so yeah, north is technically just above Watford, I think. So
yeah, north is very much Midlands as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's Midlands upwards, isn't it? So
So you've got Villa, Everton, Leeds, Leicester, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Wolves. That's the north team. The south team is Arsenal, Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Southampton, Spurs, and West Ham.
Nice.
So, is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Oh, and also, just to make it less complicated, we've gone for 4-4-3, and everyone's had to stick to that. So, I'll do my defence first, and then I'll choose who to go next. Okay? Are you writing them down, George?
I'll write them down. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I've gone Pickford in goal. And so how I've done it is I've kind of just gone through every team and tried to pick who I think is their best player. So on Pickford in goal, Trippier at right back. Even though does he play right back?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Trippier right back, Van Dijk and Diaz centre backs, and I've gone Justin from Leicester at left back. Do you want to go next, Gio? Mike, go on.
North team.
Go on, Falvey, you go. I'll write them and I'll go last.
Oh,
Darlington.
Oh, so quiet.
Yeah, start again.
Meslier in goal for me.
Oh.
Then Digne, Cody, Kilman, and Trippier.
Can you just say that slightly slower? Digne, Kilman, Cody,
Trippier.
That's it.
DB, you'll go next.
Martinez for Villa in goal. Trippier right back. Martinez for United centre back. Cody Everton and Firpo Leeds.
Okay. Tom, your turn.
Okay, so my system is decent goalkeeper, okay midfield, and good attack. So the defence are wasters. I've got Johnny Evans, Robin Koch, and Neko.
What about your goalkeeper?
Listen.
So Allison, can you say yours again? Sorry, I'm writing it down.
Yeah. So Allison goalkeeper. I've got Johnny Evans, Robin Koch, and Nico Williams.
Neko.
I feel like every time Tom's been on this podcast, he's mentioned Nico Williams.
I have,
Yeah,
yes.
probably, yeah.
That's a habit.
And chicken dinners. And
You know,
Thomas.
Chicken dinners.
Well, I had chicken curry tonight. It was lovely.
Ooh.
And then me, I've gone Pickford in goal. I've gone Matty Cash. I've gone Varane over Martinez. Virgil van Dijk. I was in a toss-up because I wanted to go Neco Williams, even though I wanted someone to be left back, but instead I've gone for Lodi, or Lodi, however you say it, Renan Lodi from Forest.
Right, okay.
Lodi over Neco.
Yeah.
Right, midfield then. I've gone Lingard, Ericsson, and Neves from Wolves. Gio, do you want to go next? Or CB? Go CB.
Yeah, I've got Tielemans, Neves, and Lingard.
Tom?
Yeah, I've gone Coutinho. I hoped Fryer would be here. He's not, so it's not worth saying this, but oh well. Tom Davis and Fred.
Wow. George, is your mic working?
Yes, one second.
Right, go on. Midfield.
KDB, Madison, and Gibbs White.
Okay. And then Johnson.
My mid three is Neves, Madison, Kevin De Bruyne.
Right, I'll go attack now. So I've gone Coutinho, Haaland, and Rodrigo from Leeds. Gio, you're next.
Haaland, Salah, and Ronaldo.
CB?
Salah, Sancho, Haaland.
And Tom.
So yeah, I went Coutinho midfield. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So my attack is.
Sorry, can CB just say his again? Sancho, Haaland, and
Salah.
Oh, and Salah. Okay, yeah. And
I've
then
got-
Tom.
I've got Ronaldo. I've obviously got Haaland, but I got St. Maximan as well, who I think is ace.
Good choice.
Yeah, I was in two minds whether to pick him, but I think Trippier was a good choice at right back. Johnson?
Yeah, I've also gone St. Max. Obviously gone Haaland. And then obviously everyone else used their Leeds guy earlier on, but I've gone for Harrison. I think he's a decent player.
Oh, interesting.
I
I did
Rodrigo
actually think about him. And Rodrigo, I was thinking about him.
Rodrigo was on fire so far this season, so I thought it was a no-brainer. I feel like when I went through the Leeds team, I don't even know half of it anymore. I signed so many players.
Oh yeah, I didn't know who to pick. I just picked Robin Cork because he sounds like Welsh
Sounds
for red.
Welsh,
Cork.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Tom, you picked them because they're good players. That's right.
I picked them because they're good players, of course I did. Johnny
Yeah.
and Johnny Evans.
Obviously,
not because
the
of Gospel Johnny.
anchorman Tom Davis.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, I think everyone's North team looks well stronger than the South.
Particularly that front line, the forwards.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I feel like I've gone-
Haaland scored 9 goals in one game.
I'm getting sick of him now.
Well,
I mean, obviously everyone's gone for Haaland because if you didn't, then what are you doing?
You're a nut job. Yeah.
I think they're spoiled for options going like, say, right wing and left wing too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of options you could pick.
I mean, considering he's the best midfielder in world football and has basically put Wales to the sword tonight, I'm surprised that so many people haven't picked Kevin De Bruyne. But because Man City is so strong, I can kind of understand it as well.
It's just a case of
having two players.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't. I feel like my midfield's quite strong. Lingard, Ericsson, Neves.
I think mine's all right. To be fair, I'm going to say this, but only because United fan. That's why I chose to use 2 United players.
I was going to say, did you use 2 United players?
Yeah, I used 2 United players just for being a United fan. But because I was thinking of putting KDB in, but I thought I've got to put Haaland in, so I just switched it.
Yeah.
But it's only because I'm a United fan. That's why I put 2 United players in.
Yeah, I mean, I had the option. I wanted centre backs that was strong, but I went Varane over what's his name, Martinez, just because long term what Varane has done rather than this season alone.
I think there's no question that Varane is better than Martinez.
Personally. I mean, in terms of his career up to date, yes, but obviously that's because he's at not the tail end, but I mean,
oh yeah, you can be rated on what you've done, can't you?
The start of tail end, but yeah, whereas obviously Martinez is more, he's a bit of a yard dog, and he's going to, hopefully for United fans, be there for the next 6-7 years. But.
Yeah.
Right, should we go ahead and start the South ones?
Go on.
Right, I've got Neto, don't even know if that's how you say it, from Bournemouth in goal, just because I needed a Bournemouth player. I got Zinchenko left back, Dunk from Brighton centre back, Ben Mee, who's now at Brentford at centre back, and Reece James at right back. Gio, do you want to go next?
Sanchez in goal. Then defence is James, Anderson, Saliba, and Kelly.
Who's Sanchez from again?
Brighton goalkeeper.
Spain's number one, isn't he? Or
Is he?
he played I think
Over Kepa or De Gea?
he's over De Gea. I think he's played a few games for Spain.
That's crazy. CB, you're next.
Goalkeeper Sanchez, right back Reece James, centre back Saliba, me, and left back Tete from Fulham.
Love it when you guys say me as if you're going to be in the team yourselves. It's great.
Yeah. You're next, Tom.
I got Thoris. Ella.
Is that the Welsh version?
Thoris, yeah. Bella Koshap, FM Cresswell, and Anderson, of course, who is better than Salah. Better than Darwin. Sorry, there he is. Yeah.
Oh, everyone's better than Darwin if you believe Twitter.
Again, I've gone front heavy rather than defence. So
yeah, I feel like the same midfield as well. Johnson, you're next.
So I've gone Raya in goal. I've got Zinchenko at left back.
See Brentford. Raya.
Yeah, Raya. Yeah. Zinchenko left back. I've got Kelly from Bournemouth and Koulibaly at centre backs. And I've got Reece James, pretty much like everyone else has.
Yeah.
I think you have to have Reece James.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Holland, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not quite the same as that.
No, but yeah, obviously you have to have him.
I mean, who else?
I know Chelsea are a bit leaky, but I went 2 Chelsea players just go an amazing centre back that hasn't quite worked out at Chelsea just for what he was at Napoli, and obviously
it's only been 7 games.
Did you choose Thiago Silva then?
No, I'd rather Koulibaly.
Midfield, I've gone Declan Rice, Ward-Prowse. I've gone Polina from Fulham, who's had a really good start to the season. And a lot of people think he's going to be big, so chose him. Gio, next.
Rice, Son, and Walker-Peters.
DB?
Ward-Prowse, Stanislav, I think it's pronounced, from Bournemouth. And
Sorry, I said Walker-Peters. Ward-Prowse, I meant to say, sorry.
And Quetti from West Ham, one of their summer signings.
Yeah.
Is it Lucas? Lucas Paqueta.
Lucas Paqueta, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, new guy. Tell me next.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So I got Kante because it's Kante. I got Gross. And I got Damsgaard because that's a good name.
I nearly picked him.
Yeah, same. Johnson?
Declan Rice, JWP like everyone else, and I've gone Pascal Gross as well.
Can I just say it's gross, but there we go. Just wanted to correct everyone. Is that everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up front, I've got Kane, Jesus, and Zaha. Gio?
Kane, Tony, and Mitrovic.
Ooh.
DB?
Saka, Zaha, Kane.
Tom? Johnson?
Sorry, I'm here. I got more Jesus and Mitrovic.
Not Jesus.
Good old Kiefer Moore. I've got Son, Mitrovic, and Zaha.
Right, I don't really know how to proceed from now, but yeah, I feel like
Actually, a lot of picks pretty much write themselves. A lot of people have got very, very similar.
Should we do? I don't know how you want to do it. Do you want to do it like FPL, or do you want to just pick the best North team and the best South team?
As in with no restrictions.
From the picks that we've got. By the way, just Tom, can you go over your defence again? Because I've only actually got 3 of them written down.
South defence.
Yeah, your southern defence.
Yeah, I've got a guy called Bella Koshap. I picked him because I thought his name was funny.
Bottle of ketchup. I remember doing that joke. When I was
ketchup, yeah. Cool, right, yeah. I've got Metham, I got Cresswell and Anderson from Crystal Palace.
Cool.
Cool.
So then,
But
do you want to pick
I reckon
based
it'll
on
cause.
positions?
Yeah, I think it'll cause more debate if we just have no restrictions.
Yeah. So do we go north first?
Yeah, so George, you write these down. So if anyone has suggestions, I mean, there's only really two, isn't there? It's Allison or Edison in goal.
I think personally,
North.
Allison.
Well, no, I think we should go based on who we've picked, though. So that rules out both of them. No, Allison, Tom's
But then
picked. But
if we do
no one picked
that,
Edison.
it's like my South goalkeeper is not even in the running.
That's
So it could
fine.
just be by default, do you know what I mean?
But then otherwise, you're basically just going to pick Liverpool, Man City, all 11, I suppose.
Yeah, but
Could
At least
say-
you've got the restrictions
the
of.
debate is who from Liverpool or Man City.
Then again,
Yeah,
like
Okay, we'll go by ours. Right? So goalkeepers. Who's all the goalkeepers, Johnson?
So there's 2 votes for Pickford. There's Meslier from Leeds. There's Martinez from Villa, or there's Alisson from Liverpool.
Right, so I vote Allison.
I think Allison.
So I mean, basically, as soon as one of them players rocks up, it's going to be them. But Pickford's obviously a close second because two of us picked him. But
But you can't say that because
I
they're going to be
personally,
restricted elsewhere, so they had to pick him.
I would personally,
Yeah.
I'll pick Martinez over Pickford.
I wouldn't.
I would. I don't.
Pickford had that great game
I
against
don't
Liverpool,
really
though.
rate
The saves he made.
I don't know if you
Is
guys
Pickford
have seen.
still the number one? I know people, obviously Fryer would say definitively yes, but I mean, there's a few options for England now in that position. But I still think, as of right now, ignoring the injury,
I don't know.
Pickford's the number one, isn't he?
I think you have to pick Pickford because
He's
I don't rate Ramsdale. And who's the other one? Pope. Like, has he shown
Pope's
enough?
Pope's probably
Or there's
second.
Dean Henderson on the periphery. Though I think it's
No.
between them 4 which 3 go with England.
I think he's quite far ahead, Pickford, really,
I
just
think
because of what he's done in previous tournaments.
I think yeah.
It's a case of sorry, CD.
I was about to say I think Pickford's definitely on the plane. He'll definitely start. He's going to Southgate's mates, so I think he's going to play. Then I wouldn't take Ramsdale. I don't rate Ramsdale at all. And then I think it's
I would take
Pope.
him.
I'd probably say it's Pope second.
I don't think Pope is.
I think he's better
too
than
much of an
Gibbs.
old-fashioned goalkeeper.
But I think
See, I personally think that Pope's the closest to knocking Pickford off
that.
as number one.
I do, but he doesn't have the ball skills that Pickford has.
Oh, so close.
Also, it takes.
Sorry, Wales nearly equalised.
There's none of them except for Pickford have been proven in real international football as well. So you never know how the others are going to perform. But you need to try him, of course, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that
Ramsdale's the
basis,
youngest by a long way, isn't he? In them 3, so long term,
Wait, how old-
Ramsdale will be there or thereabouts.
How
But
old's Ramsdale?
I'm sure he's only like 23, 24, isn't he? I'm sure
I
he's
think
quite young.
Henderson's the same age. I think Dean Henderson. He's not that old. Dean Henderson.
So yeah, long term, them two are going to be fighting out, aren't they, for number one? But as of
he's
right now,
24, Ramsdale.
I'd go for the older heads between
Henderson's-
Pickford and Pope.
Yeah, Henderson's 25, so it's not. that-
Yeah, and that's very young for a goalkeeper, you know.
I thought he was about 20.
Pickford's only 30, isn't he?
Is he 30? Jesus.
So Allison, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
after
yeah.
all that, Pickford's
Oh, no.
28.
Yeah, Pickford's only 28. So you know what? I mean,
They've got some good young keepers. Not bad young keepers, should I say.
yeah. Whereas, I mean, that's the difference between, one of them goalkeepers won't travel to the World Cup. Whereas Wales have got a very out of form Danny Ward who's leaking goals for fun. And the fact that Hennessy can't get ahead of Dean Henderson and Henderson might not go does show the disparity between big teams, big nations and smaller nations. But that's the way it is. That's the way she goes. Like, there'll be several English players that won't even have a look in that Wales would happily take. But
I was about to say,
that's the way it goes.
I'll check what goalies he's picked now, but obviously Pickford's injured, so he's picked Henderson, Pope, and Ramsdale, so that helps no one.
Yeah. Whereas Wales' number 3 goalkeeper is on Salford's books in League 2. That shows the level, you know what I mean? Like, it shows how, like, David and Goliath, the Wales is outside of the obvious 3 or 4. But that's just moaning about a nation that only has 3 or 4 million people compared to 60, so never mind. But, yeah. cut a long story short, overall, we've decided to go for Alisson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alisson.
Right, left back. What's the options?
This would be fun.
Right, so Fell went for Justin at Leicester. Now, Falvey's got a choice now because he's got Digne and Trippier, who can... I suppose it would be Digne as the left back there.
Yeah, just go by
I
what
wrote his team down the other way around, so Digne would be his option there. Then there's Firpo from CB. There's Neko from Tom, and then I've gone for the other Forest option with Lodi. I don't even know how you say his name, but he's on loan from Atletico Madrid and he plays for the Brazil team, so that's why I picked him.
Be Royals. Let Lordy sing that. Never mind. I'll carry on.
Say them again for me.
So
Dan,
yeah,
please.
it's an interesting because everyone's gone for someone different.
Say them again.
So it's Justin, Leicester, Digne at Villa, Firpo at Leeds, Neko Williams at Forest, even though technically he plays on the other side, but for Wales he plays on the left. And then Lodi, who does play on the left for Forest. So
I mean, you could
that's a
probably
very
take.
hard call.
It's going
isn't
to
it?
hurt you, but I think Williams and Lodi, or whatever the hell his name is, instantly get cut.
I think Firpo gets cut too.
I think Firpo probably gets cut as well, and then it's between Justin and Digne.
Yeah, it is between those.
I mean, I'm going to argue my pick though. He is on loan from Atletico Madrid, and he is called up to the Brazil team. And I think that puts him ahead of Justin, but I probably would vote overall Digne,
Right.
personally.
Okay, so let's just do a vote then. So you vote Digne, CB?
Digne.
You vote, right, it's going to be Digne then, so put Digne in.
Okay.
So that's 3 out of 5, so.
So can we put Nico on the other side then? Great, thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, do you want to do the other side now? Because
Yeah, go
That
on.
as well.
it's basically
Yeah, I think there's only one answer here, but.
Trippier.
Right, so that's 3
Johnny,
already.
even though it should be Neko, and I've gone Matty Cash.
So Trippier.
Well, that 3 people have picked Trippier, so it's Trippier.
Yeah.
I'd be a great manager, me.
Are you writing this down as the team, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, centre backs. So do. Oh, how are you even going to do this?
This is gonna be quite hard.
Should we just
say
list
out
them all?
What
Should we list
everyone
them all?
said, and then yeah. So Fell chose Virgil van Dijk and Diaz.
I mean, I feel
Which
like
is
that's going to
a
be the
solid
answer.
draw.
but-
Then there's Kilman and Cody. I mean, Cody's got an outside shout.
do we even need to
Martinez,
carry on?
Evans, Cork, and Varane and Van Dijk. So it's kind of.
So it's Van Dijk and Diaz, isn't it? There's not even a vote.
I mean, I honestly think that Diaz is a little bit overrated and Varane's done more in his career.
Yeah.
But I could understand why you're saying that.
It's Van Dijk, and I can't decide whether it be Varane.
Diaz transformed City the year after we won the league, in the way Van Dijk transformed us.
Just Varane is one of the most decorated centre backs in world football.
And he's a very good defender when he's fit. That's the only thing, though. That might go against him, though. He's not always fit.
But then, would you say Marcelo is one of the best players ever? Like, he's won all those trophies, but
he was a very good left
he's not
back.
great, is he? He's not great, though, is he?
I would say he's a very good left back. But
Well, all right, let's do a vote then. Let's do a vote.
So Van Dijk for me, for one of them.
Yeah, so Van Dijk's one.
Is everybody?
So then it's Diaz versus Varane.
I say Varane. Van Dijk, Varane.
See, I'd agree. I'd go Varane, but that is my pick, so maybe I'm a bit biased.
Yeah.
But I can understand if Diaz won. Diaz, or whatever you want to say his name.
Diaz.
So what would
who did you
Falvey or Tom's choice
Who did
be?
Falvey pick? Because
Falvey went with Kilman and Cody.
Okay, Tom, Van Dijk or Diaz? Diaz or Varane?
Oh God.
Assuming you pick Van Dijk.
Yeah, I would have picked Van Dijk. Diaz.
Right, so the only one who's not here is United fans, so he would probably pick Varane. So just put Varane in.
No,
Okay.
I don't think he might not.
But he's not here anyway, so.
But I approve that choice anyway.
Although it could easily. I mean, to be fair, you were arguing about two very, very good footballers. It could be either, but
Yeah.
I think Man United would vote Man United over City this year.
All I'll say is, like you say, oh, he's one of the most decorated defenders. Who's done the most in the Premier League?
Well, yeah, I know what you mean.
Who's the better player the last 2 or 3 years? Like, it's not even a question, is it?
I still think Varane's a better player in general,
But you can only go off what you've done recently. You can't go off like 5 years ago. Like if you say you won the Champions League 5 years ago and then the next 4 seasons were crap.
I suppose, but I still pick Varane.
Of course you would, because it's United v City, but still. Yeah. Midfield.
Isn't Van Dijk and Diaz would both be left-sided centre-backs, though? Is Varane right-footed? So I think maybe does that sway it?
He usually plays, I think he's left-footed, but he plays right centre-back.
Oh, is he also left-footed? So we've chose a load of left-footed centre-backs, which is quite unusual.
But he usually plays right centre-back, and Martinez plays usually left centre-back.
Okay.
And when Maguire played left centre-back.
Right. But, well, so that one's up in the air, but we think Falvey probably would pick Varane, so fair enough. But it could easily be.
We'll put that in their WhatsApp group later. We'll just put Diaz or Varane just in the chat. Don't put anything else and see what people put.
Yeah.
We can't say anything.
No.
Left back is it?
So
in fact, I'm going to put it in the chat now so that we have an answer before the end.
Because maybe Fryer might be in the chat because if he's just finished work or whatever, or even I don't know, Deutsch probably wouldn't be like probably be biased the other way.
Matt would probably say Saliba because he's an Arsenal fan.
Do you want to go on to the midfield 3?
Yeah, go on. Just read them all out and we'll pick 3.
Lingard, Eriksen, and Neves. Kevin De Bruyne, Maddison, or Gibbs White. Tielemans, another vote for Neves and another vote for Lingard. Coutinho, Tom Davis, and Kevin De Bruyne with another vote. Maddison with another vote, and Neves with another vote. So Neves has been picked. Has been picked by 3 of us.
I think
Neves picked Diaz instantly.
I think Neves centre mid and then KDB for centre attacking for sure.
And then it's who's the other one then?
We had Tielemans. We had
Lingard.
Can you just read them all out again?
Lingard, Eriksen, Maddison, Gibbs White, Tielemans, Coutinho, Fred and Tom Davis. I think unfortunately Tom was probably going to rule out straight away.
Yeah, I'll
rule
out Gibbs White too. I'll rule out Gibbs White.
Yeah.
Fryer, I imagine Fryer is listening to this. I vote Tom Davis. He's immense.
Ooh.
So Kevin De Bruyne has won.
De Bruyne and Neves because of how many... Well, Kevin De Bruyne has to be because he's the best midfielder in world football.
I think it's between
Neves,
the other 2 are
respect.
between Eriksen, Neves, and Maddison.
Neves, I think, already has to be in because 3 out of 5 of us have picked him.
I think Neves should be in.
So there's one place between Lingard, Eriksen, Maddison, Tielemans, Coutinho.
So this is where it's annoying because I would probably pick Maddison over Neves, as I feel like Eriksen gets in. But
I think Eriksen could get in, but I just like.
We rule out Lingard. I think Lingard.
I won't put
even
him.
though a few of us picked him.
I think Eriksen.
Coutinho's only been picked by 1 person, so maybe rule
it's
that
the
one
wrong
out.
position.
That's because it's the wrong position by me. But then again, I would have him in midfield with a front 3 because I feel Coutinho is a deep playmaker. I think he can do that role.
Although technically 2 people voted for Maddison and only Eriksen was picked once, I believe. I don't know if that sways it originally or you want to decide between them 2.
No, I didn't. I didn't pick Eriksen. I picked Neves, Tielemans, and Lingard.
Well, if you're going off votes, then go.
Or
KDB,
do you guys
Maddison.
want to have another flash vote between Maddison and Eriksen? Who would people vote for?
Yeah, you can do. So do
I would vote
KDB,
for
Neves. I'd vote Eriksen. Tom?
I'd go for Eriksen. I like Eriksen.
So it's Eriksen then.
Eriksen it is then.
Barbie said
It's still a very good midfield 3. That isn't it? Neves, Eriksen, and Kevin De Bruyne.
Did we see, by the way, that...
that's a very good ball playing midfield, that.
Did we see that
Obviously-
Falvey chose Diaz, by the way?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, did he?
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's already been made. Decisions been made.
No,
No. I'm a stickler for the rules.
no, you're not.
You're not.
I'm gonna put Varane in brackets.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So
The
so what's the
Wales game
midfield?
just finished, by the way. I know it's with I was watching that whilst we're doing this, but yeah, the Wales game just finished, so a near loss, not too bad.
2-1's fine for me. I don't mind that.
Right, so it's Ericsson, Neves, KDB, yeah?
And Kevin De Bruyne, yeah.
Right, what's the attacking options now?
Obviously,
So,
everyone chose Haaland, so that one goes without saying.
Yeah. So we've got. I've got.
So then it's
I've got Salah and Sancho on mine.
so it's Coutinho, Rodrigo, Ronaldo, Salah, Sancho, Salah, Ronaldo, Saint Maximum, Harrison.
I think Salah's got to be there, right? Is he playing right? Reed?
He's not on form. I don't think he should be there, personally.
I can't go
But
off
then-
6 games.
But I
On
think
the flip side, then, would you say the same about Ronaldo? It's basically going to be Ronaldo, Saint Maximin,
true.
I would put.
or Salah.
I'll
It's
say.
them three, isn't it?
I'll say Salah is right wing.
Yeah,
And then
I'd
do you
agree with
want
that.
Ronaldo? It's in the Varane category, isn't it? Again, like,
See-
do you want Ronaldo for what he was, or do you want Saint Maximum for what he is?
If I were to choose, I wouldn't pick Ronaldo. I'd pick Sancho over Ronaldo.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even thinking about Sancho. Okay.
Yeah, I would.
That's just not even it.
No,
Is he?
yeah, I picked him.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I
Can
would-
you tell me who's left, George? Like, who we voting for now?
Right. So, no offense to Rodrigo, Coutinho. Those I'd say were out. So it's and Harrison I put in because I needed a Leeds guy. So I'd ignore them ones. So it's
I'm sure they're not listening, so they
Ronaldo,
won't take
Salah,
offense.
Sancho, or Saint Maximin. Those are the other
Hey,
options.
Maxim, for me.
Saint Maximin excites me. I do like Saint Maximin. The way
Didn't he get 2
plays,
votes
the way
as
he
well?
moves. Yeah. It's just
So
the way he
I-
moves on the pitch.
It's Saint Max or Ronaldo, and I think on the flip side of Varane, I'd want Saint Max for longevity, whereas Ronaldo now is kind of going to take up Haaland's positions, and I think I'd rather Saint Max feeding him in.
I would
So
rather.
I'd choose Saint Max.
I would rather Saint Max over Ronaldo, but like I said, I would rather Sancho over Ronaldo. But Saint Max is fine.
Fair enough. So then that sorts out the Northern
So
team.
read
Then.
out that team then.
So Alisson in goal.
Yeah.
We've got Digne, Van Dijk. You could argue between Varane and Diaz, however you want to go, and Trippier. The midfield three of Kevin De Bruyne, Neves, and Ericsson. And then the attack of Salah, Haaland, and Saint Maximin.
Whew, that's a good team.
Pretty good a team.
Right, let's go for the South one though.
Oh, this would be
And then, no offence, but the South team are probably going to get an absolute pasting.
Yeah. They are, just a bit.
Goalkeepers.
goalkeeper.
So, obviously, Fell chose Neto, and he pretty much already admits that's going straight out the window.
Yeah. I would
So
rather
it's
play
2
without a
votes for
goalkeeper.
2 votes for Sanchez, Lloris, or Raya.
Yeah, I think it's Sanchez or Lloris.
I'll go Lloris.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
it's a hard call because obviously Lloris is a World Cup winner, but I've always questioned him as a goalkeeper, whereas I'm impressed by Sanchez.
I've
So
questioned. I've questioned Lloris.
maybe controversially, I'd probably say Sanchez personally, you know.
I'd probably pick Sanchez over Lloris.
I feel like I'm not comparing Edison and Lloris. Well, I kind of am, but they kind of play similar, and they both make a lot of mistakes. But I feel like because Edison plays for a better team, City getting out of it. Whereas Lloris, obviously they're better this year, but his mistakes are remembered more.
Yeah,
still,
he's a World Cup winner and he's France's captain,
I
but
still think he's a good
I just think
keeper.
he's got a mistake in him, right? And it's glaring when you're meant to be that good.
I think he's a good
Whereas
keeper.
Sanchez is just a very good shot
Allison makes
stopper
a lot of
as well.
mistakes.
I don't think Lloris makes as many mistakes as people would make out, really. It's just that it stands out because I just don't think he makes as many as people work out, personally. He's good.
Well, let's just do a vote.
Goalkeeper union.
So, I vote Lloris.
He's Union.
Tom,
Lloris. Yeah.
I vote Sanchez.
Johnson.
I'd vote Sanchez, and then that's down to Falvey, and
Well, he's
Falvey
put Sanchez in the chat, so it's Sanchez.
So
Sanchez.
Yeah, to me, George.
again, I could see why people would go Lloris, but I'd personally go.
I like Sanchez. I think he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I've always questioned Lloris. When people said that he's one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League, I've never considered him as the top. I feel like
if I was to go back through the stats between Sanchez and Lloris, there just wouldn't even be a question.
Yeah, but it's
Tottenham versus Brighton. One's got a quote unquote better defense in front of him, whereas the other guy has to.
But then that's just like
Brighton
saying
a very solid defensive team. To be fair,
that's just like saying the team who are bottom, the goalie makes more saves than anyone else because he gets more shots at him.
Well, isn't that true?
But if you think how good defensively Brighton are, I don't know.
You can only go on how good their teams are doing, basically.
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't good, he wouldn't be in that team. And if Sanchez was that good, he would be in a quote-unquote better team. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
He's only 24, in fairness, Sanchez, so he could easily go to a better team.
Oh, I know, but we're talking about now, not in 2-3 years' time. Who's the defense?
Right, so left-back option, it seems fairly obvious, really, because there's two votes for Zinchenko. There's Kelly that seems a throwaway. There's Tete that seems a bit of a throwaway, and bottle of ketchup. So that pretty much seems like a Zinchenko easy one. That one.
Yeah.
Who's the other side?
1, 2, 3, 4 votes for James.
Yeah,
that's already that, isn't it?
I think James. Yeah.
That one's almost pretty much wrapped up already. And then centre-back wise, it's a little bit more of a choice, I'd say now. So it's Dunk and me, Anderson, Saliba, another vote for Saliba, another vote for me, Mepham, another vote for Anderson, Koulibaly, and my throwaway vote of Kelly. Although I picked Kelly because he got 2 assists in FPL this year, but he's definitely out the running.
Who's Kelly from?
He's Bournemouth. He's their captain, but I wouldn't worry about that in terms of picking the best team.
Not Palace.
He's got 2 assists in FPL this year.
Okay.
Straight away, I would put Saliba up there.
I wouldn't put Saliba.
I would probably put Saliba there.
Well, he's played well for 6 games.
No, but I think I rate him as a player. To be fair, before.
But he didn't do anything.
Yeah, because he never.
Technically, if you go in based on votes, there's been 2 votes of Anderson at Palace, and there's been 2 votes for me. However,
you can't do that. Like we're trying to pick the best team now.
However, on the flip side, I'd say Dunk is better than both of them. Saliba's up in the air, and Koulibaly's one of the best centre backs in world football.
So I think Koulibaly goes in there.
And there's Mepham as well, obviously. There's Mepham as an outside shout as well, but that's the Welsh perspective.
We all agree Koulibaly goes in.
Yeah, I agree. Koulibaly.
Right. So then it's between Dunk and Saliba.
I would choose Saliba.
I would choose Dunk.
See, I think Anderson's a very good player for Palace, you know.
Pick Anderson then?
Well,
I would, but that means the 3-way tie then.
Well, we've got Tom. And we've got Gio.
Hello? Well,
Dunk or Saliba, Tom?
I don't know many of the Southern defenders. It's like I've picked Mepham because he's Welsh, Cresswell because I know his name, Anderson because he plays so well against Liverpool, and Bella Kutchup because of his name is hilarious.
So, I mean, you chose Anderson. Would you stick with Anderson over?
Oh, definitely stick with Anderson because
Saliba.
Had Darwin in his pocket. He had his psychology. He had him down to a T. So I rate Anderson now because of that, and he's done well since as well. So I'll say him for now, and others I'll go with what you guys say really because I'm not familiar with it.
I mean, technically, I said I kind of put Anderson in the mix. So if Tom's sticking with his Anderson, and that kind of, unless Falvey says Dunk or Saliba, or Saliba. Someone else in the chat does.
He said Saliba.
Put Saliba in.
So it's Saliba versus Anderson, Fel. Being as you wanted Dunk, who would you pick out of the 2?
Anderson.
Fair play.
Anderson's the one that gets in then.
Like I feel like
There goes the Arsenal fans. Sorry,
Saliba, like he's
Just for his chant, he's got to be in the mix. But I like Anderson, and he's at a
he just
quote-unquote
epitomises
record.
this Arsenal team. Like they've got so much to prove. They're doing well, but can they keep it up?
See, I like Saliba. I rate him over Gabriel a lot more.
I mean, I
even though I
a
don't,
rock over Gabriel.
even though I don't actually rate some of the actually Arsenal team, but I do rate Saliba. And I used to talk about FIFA now a few years ago when he was at Saint-Etienne. I always signed him. Always signed
Right.
Saliba. So I've known him for years. So I'm just always going to choose Saliba or Saliba.
Well, Anderson won anyway,
Yeah.
so.
To be fair, we had a 50-50 kind of choice for centre-backs on the other team, so I could put a little brackets and kind of have both in a cheating way. But
Just got subbed on after 60 minutes.
Half time.
Yeah. Right, midfield. This is where it might be a bit fun.
right, one,
So I think Declan
two,
Rice goes in.
I think
and
There's
Ward-Prowse
3
goes in.
votes for Rice.
He goes
It's like
in.
I'm doing an order now for a takeaway. We've got
Yeah.
3 Rices. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 for JWP.
Yeah, they both go in.
And then it's a case of who's the other one. So there's
Who's
Polinia at Fulham.
Someone said Kante. I feel like he has to
yeah.
go.
I think Kante is on the downward swing and has been for like 2 seasons.
Falvey picked Son in his midfield 3 rather than as an attacker, but that's in his midfield 3. There's Stanislas, Paqueta, Kante, Gross, Damsgaard, and I've also voted for Pascal Gross.
So
it's-
Ward-Prowse is definitely in there, and Rice.
Rice and JWP, yeah, those are 2 definites. And then it's a case of you've got to have Son in your team somewhere, but would you have Son in the midfield or as one of the attacking 3? Because I think you've got to have Son, haven't you,
I feel
in
like
the team?
I feel like
You wouldn't know in a 4-3-3 have him there, would you?
You would have him in a fourth. You have him in attacking forwards.
See, I put Son as an attacker rather than in the midfield 3, but yeah.
Or should we do the attack? Let's do the attack first and see if he gets in the attack.
Okay, so we'll park the midfield 3. So then the attack is either Zaha, Kane, Jesus, another vote for Kane, Tony and Mitrovic, Saka, another Zaha and another Kane, Kiefer Moore, Jesus and another Mitrovic, and then Zaha, Mitrovic and Son. So it kind of looks
is
like a
terrible.
Zaha, Kane, Mitrovic on the votes, but
So
would
it's-
anyone want anyone else?
Kane's in there, and I feel like Son could be in there. But
Despite votes, right? If someone said to you today, who would you rather have, Jesus or Mitrovic? Who would you pick?
Mitrovic.
Really?
Yeah,
Not,
I don't know
when
I'm not.
Jesus offers more, doesn't he? But I think
Mitrovic scored
Zaha should
2
be a
goals
guaranteed
last
pick.
time he was in the Premier League.
Because 3 of us picked Zaha, I think he has to be one of the attacking 3,
See,
and then it's a fight out for another one, isn't
so
it?
To be fair, yeah.
it's Kane,
True.
Zaha.
I would pick
And then do you want me
Zaha.
to read out the rest of them again?
Yeah,
So Jesus, Tony, Mitrovic, Saka, Kiefer Moore, or Son.
It's Son, isn't
Son.
it? It's Kane,
Maybe Son.
Son, Zaha.
Yeah, okay.
And then that just leaves a difficult choice in the midfield now.
And then the midfield is going back. It's Polinia, Stanislas, Paqueta, Kante, Pascal Gross, or Damsgaard.
so probably Pascal Gross, maybe.
I mean, the Kante of now,
Can't. Oh,
who's injury prone and isn't playing as much.
Even just not now, like last season, he was non-existent.
I mean, I suppose if you want to look at it, you think, because this is what I chose on mine, is because Rice and Ward-Prowse are so more sitting back, would you want a more attacking-minded midfielder of the 3?
I think that's like technicality, isn't it? Like we're just picking the 3 best midfielders.
That's why I'd probably go against Kante, whereas you'd want an attacking option. So I'm not sure about Damsgaard. There's Pascal Gross, Paqueta as an attacking-minded player.
I think
Whereas
Polina
Polina
has
would be
only
more of a
played
box to
7
box.
games, and he can be ruled out. I think it's Pascal Gross. I would pick.
Yeah, I would probably choose.
Who?
You think it's Pascal
I
Gross?
think Gross. But I know what Johnson's saying about defensive-minded, but I think we've mainly picked defensive-minded players.
Well, the
I think
midfielders
let's be honest,
kind
the
of are
Southern team
defensive,
would
though.
need defensive players, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but
Yeah, but-
I base mine with 2 centre backs and like a centre attacking mid.
Would you not argue that Ward-Prowse and Rice are defensive, so we'd need an attacking one, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, so Pascal Gross.
yeah. I
Pascal
know.
Gross then.
I mean, it's not going to do anything for them. They're still going to get spanked, but
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a good attack, to be fair, and even the defense is not. It's not a bad team, really.
It's a
But
mid.
it's a good team until you see who they're up against is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the final 11 for the Southern team then is Sanchez in goal, Zinchenko, Koulibaly, then it's either Anderson or Saliba, it's up to you, and James, the midfield 3 of Rice, JWP, I keep calling him JWP just because it's easier to write down, and Pascal Gross, and then the attack 3 of Zaha, Kane and Son.
Can I ask everybody here, whoever picked Gross, do you write the SN, German SN, the little B
Yeah,
thing?
No,
The
I just
big
put 2 S's.
German
because that's
B,
the
I
standard,
thought, yeah.
Oh, well.
It's double S.
Well, I
isn't
wrote
it?
it down. I wrote it down as the big German B, but yeah.
Yeah, it's double S, isn't it? That's what it's like. It is in English.
In
I think
English,
that's
but
how
in
it's
German, yes, the SN,
Across
yes.
to English, but yeah, it's a big.
Like if you
German
say
B.
Heiser, isn't it spelt with that B as well?
In German, like one S is that Strada, street means Strada, so you say Strada instead of Strada.
Right.
Yeah, the
I'll
S
tell
in
you
it
one
makes it.
interesting thing that we could do is now we have the 2 teams. You could do a 50-50 North versus South.
Yeah, we can do.
I mean, admittedly, the North team just does look much stronger, but
Well, we'll see
you know.
who gets in what. So basically, what we'll do is we'll mix them and then we'll post it on Twitter, like as the winning team. So if we start with the goalkeeper,
so it's Alisson versus Sanchez.
so it's Alisson.
So that's 1-0 to the North.
You write this down.
King of the North.
Yeah. I'll put combo and I'll write that down as well. Right, combo. So Alisson is 1-0 up. Then it's Digne versus Zinchenko.
Zinchenko.
I think that's a Zinchenko personally.
Yeah.
Yep. That's 3.
Everyone happy with that?
Yeah. Even if he's not, he's lost 3-1.
Trippier versus James is an interesting one. Versus
James.
Youth versus experience.
James easily.
James.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's
I'd
yours?
argue Trippier's case because he can also take set pieces, but I can agree with the consensus if it's James.
Tom, James, or Trippier.
Trippier.
Ooh.
Right, go on then,
that's-
George. Argue the case.
Well, I mean, obviously what James offers going forward is incredible, but Trippier does something similar. Is a more experienced head, also takes set pieces.
Has he ever? He's never played at the top though in England, has he?
Not in England. I mean, he was at Spurs and then he went to Atletico Madrid,
He
whereas
did well.
Reece James just came straight into Chelsea.
Yeah, I think the ceiling's
kind of-
higher for Reece James, but like you said, he's a lot younger than.
It's
Trippier.
senior head versus youthful exuberance.
If you could pick one for Liverpool, who would it be?
Well, James is very similar to Trent, whereas Trippier is a more experienced head, so I'd be biased in saying James if I was picking it for a Liverpool team. But Trippier is a very, very good right back.
Oh yeah,
The
he's a good
question
choice.
is,
He's a good choice to have,
Yeah.
but I'd rather have James.
If,
I would
if,
pick.
Trent,
I would pick
if Trent's
James.
injured, if Trent's injured in an England point of view, would you have Trippier at right back or James?
James.
I would have James, but it'll be. But we know
It won't be
Southgate.
Trent there anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, Trippier would probably be pushed onto the left, wouldn't he? But
Yeah.
I'll write in James then, but I think Trippier's got a shout there.
No,
you
I
know?
do think.
Oh,
he
yeah, it's
has-
close.
Yeah, he's got a shout.
Yeah. Well, we've got the battle of the 50-50s in terms of centre-back. So it's Anderson or Saliba against
Well,
Varane and Diaz.
For the case of this now,
I feel like
Diaz.
North.
George said Diaz, so let's use Diaz.
Okay.
So
And then
Van Dijk.
Anderson technically won the other one, but then if we're flipping over them two, the two that walked in were Koulibaly and Van Dijk, so does that make them two the choice?
Well, yeah. There you go.
Just pick them, yeah.
Would anyone argue against Koulibaly or Van Dijk?
I think Varane deserved a good shout, but yeah, I'm happy for Koulibaly.
I also think Diaz has a good shout against Koulibaly as well.
Yeah. But you're thinking...
I think Van Dijk's definite.
Tom, what do you reckon?
Sorry, what was that?
If your centre-back choice, Van Dijk, Koulibaly, Anderson, Saliba, and Varane and Diaz are probably outside shouts to Koulibaly and Van Dijk?
Yeah, well, it's obviously going to be Van Dijk. I know he's not on form at the moment, but he'll come back. He's class. He'll come back.
Yeah, he's in 100%.
Yeah.
Is it Diaz or Koulibaly?
Diaz. Me.
What about you two? I would pick Diaz.
If I would pick Koulibaly or Diaz.
Right, so that's 3.
Diaz it is then.
And then left back. Have we done left back? Done left back, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got Zinchenko, Diaz,
Yeah.
Van Dijk, and James is the
Okay.
defensive four.
And then midfield.
So, I mean, Rice, JWP, and Pascal Gross versus Kevin De Bruyne, Neves, and Eriksen.
I'll pick
So
all
Kevin De
North.
Bruyne is in.
I'll pick all the North over them.
I would pick. So Kevin De Bruyne is in.
Yeah.
I would pick Rice. And Rice and Eriksen, I would pick.
I think Pascal Gross obviously is out of the equation.
Yeah.
Then it's Rice, Ward-Prowse, Neves, or Eriksen.
I would get rid of Ward-Prowse.
I would pick all the North. So
I know Ward-Prowse again. He's an all-action midfielder for Southampton. He's their one-team man. He takes all the free kicks. He takes all the penalties. He's a captain. He's a leader. I don't think you should rule him out as quick as you do.
As a captain of a not successful team, though.
Well, Neves is the captain of Wolves, so do you want to rule him out as well on the same basis?
Yeah,
so it's between Eriksen.
I feel like the only reason I didn't rule him out is because I rate Neves higher than JWP.
Personally, I would pick the all North midfield.
You would rather Neves over Declan Rice?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's better in those midfield apart from Kevin De Bruyne than Declan Rice.
No, I just really like Neves, and I feel like having a Neves, Eriksen, and KDB for a midfield.
So it's between Neves.
The funny thing is, I know that no one picked him because everyone had to use their Liverpool picks elsewhere. But if only Thiago Alcantara was one of the picks, he'd probably beat most of these. But
I would pick
the way that we've done it, I'm throwing in a Joker card right now. All right.
Yeah. Who would you pick out of Neves? Rice.
I mean, I'd pick Ward-Prowse over Neves personally. And if you're ruling out JWP, then I think that stands.
Would you pick JWP over Rice?
I'd choose both of them over Eriksen because Eriksen is now going to be a bit part player, but then that's circumstance with what happened to him.
But I think Eriksen's just
if you want Kevin De Bruyne doing what he does, which is just bossing it, you want Rice sitting.
That's all hypothetical, though, isn't it? We're just picking who we think is the best midfield. We're not picking who we think would win.
I'd personally go Rice and JWP with Kevin De Bruyne. So I think this is
he basically chose Rice out of Neves and Rice.
Right, so that's 2 votes for Rice. Tom, who's your midfield 3?
Mine are
not yours now. Out of the best teams, so you've got
Eriksen, Neves, Rice, or JWP.
It's got to be Eriksen, definitely. Because he's great, his passing is amazing. Does that mean
it's going to be Eriksen and Rice then?
Yeah, Rice. Rice keeps the balance between the Eriksen. Rice can keep the.
That's 2 for Eriksen and Rice.
Yeah.
And who's your third?
What's the options again?
Neves, JWP.
Neves.
So no KD.
So we can't.
Kevin De Bruyne one of them. Then you need to pick 2 out of the other 4, don't you?
Did he just pick
Rice has got 2 votes and Eriksen's got 2 votes, and I think otherwise it's split. So I think them 2 have to be it.
See, I would choose my midfield 3 would be the North one, so Neves, KDB, and Eriksen. So in that means Eriksen.
So Eriksen's definitely in. And I think Rice gets more votes. So I think
you
it's
can't
Eriksen,
not
Rice,
pick
and Kevin
Rice.
De Bruyne.
Rice
Could
has
you
a higher
have-
ceiling than all of them.
Could you
apart from
have
Kevin De Bruyne.
Eriksen and Kevin De Bruyne in the same team because they're basically the same player?
Well, you can.
Yeah, but we're just
But
picking
then
the
you've got
best
Rice
players. aren't we?
sitting. You've got Rice sitting, so you could have that.
But you
Am I overthinking it?
look.
Yeah,
Eriksen's been playing more deep line for United, so Bruno's been playing and Eriksen's been behind with McTominay, so he can play more deep. And he's actually very good at it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what is it? Eriksen, Rice, Kevin De Bruyne.
Eriksen, Rice, and Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is the
Makes
consensus.
sense. Yeah.
Not a bad midfield. What about
Although I'd argue that the Joker in the pack, Thiago Alcantara, would walk past Eriksen into that team, but he
these
wasn't
are
picked,
yours,
so that's not-
Johnson?
Yeah.
No one picked Thiago, did they? Fucking hell. I
No
mean,
one
oh
picked-
god.
But
All right.
unfortunately, that's how we do. And then in attack, it's Haaland versus Kane as the central striker.
Haaland.
Holland.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's Haaland over Kane.
But I feel like we're making it too complicated. I would have Haaland and Kane.
But if you want to do 4-3-3, you don't want two down the middle. You want
I would make
4-3-3
space
to
for
take the
Kane.
left and a right.
I'd
That's
make
it,
space
Kane.
for Kane.
Kane does set up goals, and he probably set up goals for Haaland and score himself. So yeah, Kane would be.
Remember,
in
though, if you want to take it so serious and say, oh, they can't play in this position, we wouldn't always be playing a 4-3-3, would we?
Yeah, but then
It's just the three best attackers. It
So
doesn't
we just
matter where
say-
they are.
Out of the three,
If you had
goals and three, yeah, I could see Kane and Haaland if we're doing this three in general.
And then who is it between Son, Zaha?
Son,
Saint
Zaha,
Max.
Salah, and St. Max.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, St. Max
That's
is
gotta
one
be
that'll
Salah,
fall
isn't
out.
it?
Salah
It's gotta be
or Son.
Salah.
Salah or Son.
But
It's easily
Salah, Son, or Kane. Two of them three.
Kane and Salah, not even a question.
See, I'd have Son over Kane. Personally, I'd have Son, Salah, Haaland.
Right, do a vote then. So, does everyone agree Salah's in?
I don't know because
I don't know.
Salah doesn't set up goals as often, but he take like the thing with Salah, he's great. He does score great goals, but he has so many chances and he misses a lot as well. It's a lot of selfish play, so we need another selfish player like Haaland in instead of him. So I think Haaland over Salah, and then Son is a setup merchant. He'll set up for Haaland, and then
Kane, maybe.
Kane, yeah, Kane, Son, and Haaland for me.
Salah's already got 3 assists this season. He got 14 assists last season in the Premier League and 23 goals. The season before that, he got 8 assists and 22 goals. It's not even a question.
See, from obviously we're biased because we're Liverpool fans, but I'd say you pick one of the Spurs players. Would you rather Son or Kane? And then Salah is in as the other option. Yeah.
Son is just a nice man. You don't want to let him down, do you?
Actually, I don't like. So yeah, Kane.
He's got an edge to him, but I'd pick Son over Kane, and I'd pick Salah over both of them. So that's what I'd pick. Like,
Yeah, apart from Haaland, Salah's there.
Say
for me.
Haaland for sure. Yeah.
Haaland's a definite, and
Right,
then it's
everyone
case of-
pick your 3, so I'll go Salah, Kane, Haaland.
I don't disagree. It's fine.
No, I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree. So I'd probably pick Haaland, Kane, Salah.
Johnson?
I mean, well, that's the consensus, but I think Son's a better player than Kane, so I'd drop Kane for Son personally. But it looks like the consensus is Kane, Salah, and Haaland.
Son can
I
be
mean,
on the bench.
how are we thinking here? Like, are we thinking like managers?
Who's
do
the
we
best player? No, who is
Like-
the best player?
Yeah, but
It's not who will
you think your
score better
best-
from this position. It's who's the best player.
It's not like it's like if you got Haaland there in the middle, just there to take every single.
Forget about the positions. Haaland could be left attack, right attack. He's just there as an attacker.
But it's like if you got there and as an attacker, you want someone who is the assist, and like Kane or Son, who assists more than Kane and Son.
But then we would go back and change the whole team on that.
It's nuts. Yeah.
You're just picking
More
who you
stupid.
think is the best player for that position. Like, best 3 attackers, best 3
I mean,
midfielders.
it's
best
a nice
defenders.
conundrum to
Forward,
have, but if you want to go based on last season, despite what you were saying about Kane, Salah and Son were joint top goal scorers. So
What
that's why
about
I'd argue
seasons
Son
gone
over
past it?
Kane. I'd argue Son over Kane, and I think, obviously, I'm biased. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I think Salah has to be in it.
You're not biased. He's won like how many golden boots in the last 5 years?
Yeah, but you know, I am biased though, aren't I? But Salah, even in the quote-unquote bad run of form when he's actually assisting and creating more chances than everyone else in the league, I'd still have him over both Son and Kane. But it looks like everyone has kind of gone Kane over Son, so therefore I think that is the attacking three.
If you look, so I've just pulled up the last 3 seasons between Kane and Son. So Kane got 17 goals, Son got 23 last season. Kane got 9 assists, Son got 7 assists. So really, there's like only a difference of 2 in goal involvements there. The season before, Kane got 23 goals, Son got 17. Kane got 14 assists, Son got 10. Season before, Kane goals 18 to 11, assists 2 to 10. So yeah, I mean it's very, very close, but I think for me, Kane just edges it.
I just don't know if Kane and Haaland works. That's why I think Son as a creator when
If we
Salah
were
and
thinking it like
Haaland agree, he
that,
works.
I would pick Son, but it's just picking who you think's the 3 best attackers, isn't it? If we were picking like a formation and all these different types of things, I'm sure most of this team would be different.
Yeah, but then if you ignored that if Liverpool had no attackers, and who would you want at Liverpool? Would you want Kane or Son?
It's tough. I think
I'd want Son.
Son probably fits the way we play better. But then if you put Kane at City and Son at City, I think Kane would do better.
Oh, imagine how many goals Kane would get. Let's see.
Exactly.
Well, that's why they tried to buy him for like 100 and whatever million it was. But yeah.
So yeah, I think.
So
I mean, it's 3-1.
Are we agreeing that Salah is in, or is the argument still? Is it down to the 2 Spurs players? Which one, with Salah being one of the options?
That's fine with me.
No, Salah is 100% in.
So then it boils down to, I think most people voted for Kane, but if you did a snap thing of do you want Kane or Son, should we do one more vote and then we'll write it down?
Go on then. So this is tainted now because you think of your team.
I would pick Kane.
No,
that's my vote. Kane over Son.
Like, if you were to put, who would you be more excited for signing for your club?
Kane.
I'd pick Son because he's younger.
I'll just pick Kane.
I think Son, as great as Kane is, I'd want Son personally. Tom, who would you go for, Kane or Son?
Oh my god. See, I'm thinking like.
Don't think formations or who would do this or who would do that. I just made an idiot of myself. Kane is actually younger than Son. Who would have thought that?
Really? Kane. Let's put Kane in.
Right, so you picked Kane.
Yeah. So it's actually
2 versus 2 again.
2. But then, would you now change your mind and say Kane because he is slightly younger?
No, I would still be more excited for Son to sign for Liverpool.
So do you want to flip a coin because it's 50-50 unless we can get someone else to say it?
I think honestly, I think you need to go Kane just because 3 of us voted.
Yeah, okay, we'll go
It just
Kane.
shows how close it is. Son's a 60-minute sub.
Yeah, fair enough then. So I'll write in Kane.
We will put it in the chat though, just to see. But yeah. So do you want to read out that team and what's the score?
I'll read them out and you just tally them up. But so goalkeeper is Alisson, so that's 1-0 to the North.
You keep reading, I'll tally them.
Zinchenko, so that's South.
Yeah.
Van Dijk and Diaz, so that's 2 for the North.
Yeah.
Then there's James, so that's 1 for the South.
Yeah.
Then it's Kevin De Bruyne and Eriksen for the North.
Yeah.
And Rice for the South.
Yep.
And then it's Salah and Haaland for the North and Kane for the South.
So it's 7-4 for the North.
So 7
in the
north,
in the
four
north.
south.
Northern Barstools.
7 softies.
So then,
We'll
as
post
kind
that
of
to Twitter,
expected,
so
the
people can see.
north would be a stronger team and therefore does dominate that combo team.
Not by as much as we'd thought, though, probably.
Not as much as probably you thought, but the fact that we were arguing over which Southern player to put in as the final spot kind of shows that it was redundant in the end.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Should have just put, I think there were... who else did we even have from the north?
What from?
Yeah.
St. Max.
Ah, yeah, should have just put him in. Well, should we leave it there anyway? Anyone else? Oh, sorry, just before we go, I just want to bring up, because I've been thinking about saying it the last few days. Have you seen the situation with Anton Griezmann at Atletico?
Yeah, with Barcelona, where
Yeah.
they purposely played him from the 6. Well, no,
They're bringing him on. They're only bringing him on after 60 minutes, because if he plays longer, they have to pay money to Barcelona.
And Barca
And then Barca are trying to sue him as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah. I just think it's ridiculous.
Atletico are the experts of pure S-housery.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you've already said the F word, so you may as well say shithousery.
Shithousery, yes.
I'm happy they're doing it to Barcelona because I just feel they're just don't like Barca.
Barstools.
Yeah.
No, it's just funny. I just find it like Simeone said, "Oh yeah, we play so much better with him in the team, but they can't play him." Just quite funny. But yeah, anyone got anything else they want to say?
Mm-hmm.
No. Right. Well, thanks for joining us. If you listened, if you want to follow us, I had it written down now. I've lost it. If you want to follow us on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, you can find us at HalfTime TeamTalk. You can find us on Twitter at HalfTime TA2. Give us a follow if you liked it, and yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.